Sí, y aquí vamos a grabar. Había preguntas, there were questions. Ok, ah, bien, bien. Y vamos a continuar. Ah, vamos a ir al fondo. We're going to go kind of deep down with some of these because these are a little bit harder. Con el subjuntivo. Es la última clase de la primavera. This is the last class of spring session, para que sepan, so you know. If you try to use this link next week, there won't be a class. Memorial Day. Nobody there. So, um, just so everybody knows. And here we go. We are going to start with our questions or our examples we didn't get to last week, which were about the antes de and antes de que. Uh, and then we're going to continue with the see if you have any questions on the website page. The website page had a whole bunch of things you might not expect with subjunctive, but I think you will, well, I don't know. You might have examples, even though it gave you answers, because that website gives the answers in Spanish. So if you did not understand an explanation, you want a clarification, we can do that. And then we're going to delve into the para versus para que. And that is the last really biggie thing we'll cover with subjunctive, in that you often hear para que used with subjunctive. It is frequent, it is common. And maybe follow up a little bit with decir when it will and will not use subjunctive. But with all these things, we want to think a little bit, you know, if you're in doubt about do I use subjunctive or not, again, you know, the reasons, if it's a weirdo verb, fine, but a lot of these don't have a weirdo verb. You know, cuando is not a verb, so it does not fit into that context of verbs of wishes, emotion, impersonal phrases, recommendations, doubt, and ojalá, right? So words like cuando, words like antes de que, phrases like para que don't fit into that weirdo scaffolding thing to help us figure out about subjunctive. So we need to think about, is it an action that declara, it really declares this thing is happening, or no declara, it does not declare. And when it does not declare, often it talks about an objective, something we are striving to make that thing happen. And that is often why we use subjunctive, okay? If it is not in fact happening, but we would like it to, that is why we shift to subjunctive. And I want to play part of a video at the end of class. I think we'll have time for that. Creo que sí. Creo que
Speaking of videos, Marilyn, I never did get, even when you sent the second iteration out, I never was able to watch the electric issue. Was everyone else able to get it? I have
fellow
no
on the
idea what
Definitely
happened.
says yes. Wow. You know what? I will
I
go
saw it.
back and check to see that it's not listed as, it shouldn't be listed as a private because I never publish these as a private video.
I did get a video, but it was the retirement one.
Wow. I
Oh,
wonder,
but he goes, oh,
is
but I
that an
think
ad? Did it play an ad?
I think he's talking about retirement. It's not until like you get a few minutes into it that he starts talking about the power outage. Because I thought it was the wrong one too.
Oh, it could
Oh,
be. Yes.
okay.
He's
Um,
like riding a bike down a dirt
Yes,
path.
yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
I thought it was the wrong thing too until I watched it for a while. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. My
Some,
error.
especially with YouTube, unless you have an account, they will often play ads, which are extremely annoying. I will try to, at the end of class, show you something you may want to try. It may block some of the ads for you
Oh,
on YouTube, but I'll show you later. Uh, Después de la clase, after class. Okay, a ver, it is a different browser that may help you with that. Vamos a seguir, vamos a seguir, vamos a compartir. We are going to share so that you can see it on screen in case you need to. We have these things to talk about antes de versus antes de que. And both are common, both are frequent. Always that que is a little red flag, which is waving to say, aha, aha. If I have a little mini sentence coming, it's likely to be a subjunctive here. And so what's the deal with antes? Antes de, if there is no word que, if we're just talking about an activity, it's going to be antes de and then an infinitive, okay? And then it means before doing something. And in English, we use the doing, but the ing we think of in Spanish of ando or yendo will not be used here. It will be an infinitive because after that word de, that's paired up with antes de, after de, you can only use an infinitive. Preposition plus a verb with no conjugation has to be an infinitive. Okay. Entonces, por ejemplo, ¿sí? Antes de ir, before going. ¿Sí? Antes de ir, tomo mis llaves. Before going, I take my keys. ¿Sí? Antes de darles de comer, abro la bolsa de comida de gatos. Before feeding the cats, I open the cat food bag. Antes de escuchar la música, me pongo los audífonos. Before listening to music, I put on headphones, like that. See? Before listening to music, before feeding the cats, it's an ing thing in English, but it will not be the ando yendo. Okay, antes de que is a little bit different because that que says here comes a person. We're going to talk about a person doing something, but it's going to be before that person does something. And if it's before the person does something, no declara, it cannot declare. That thing is not yet happening because before means it hasn't happened yet. Okay, so there we need a subjunctive. Y vamos a ver ejemplos con estas cuatro ideas, ¿sí? Reviso la condición de mi auto antes de, and now we only have antes de. Reviso la condición de mi auto. I check out the condition of my car before. Un ejemplo.
Antes de comenzar un viaje.
Antes de comenzar un viaje. Lógico, lógico, sí. Bueno, ¿qué más? Reviso la condición de mi auto antes de... Antes de, por ejemplo, manejar a,
Bindar,
al norte, before driving up north.
how about to sell? Is that Bindar?
Perfecto. Vender, vender.
Vender.
Reviso la condición de mi auto antes de venderlo. Selling
Oh,
it. Sí, antes de venderlo. Antes de venderlo. Muy bien. ¿Hay otra idea o no? Ok, pueden ver, por ejemplo, sí que aquí, antes de comenzar, before starting, antes de manejar, before driving, antes de venderlo, before selling it. We don't mention a person, it's just before doing. And so no subjunctive needed there. But now we're going to have a special case with antes de que, and now we're going to mention a person. Antes de que, boom, 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 boom. And what we're showing you is that sometimes the sentence may lead off with antes, or it may be the second half. It could be the first half, the second half. The two phrases are interchangeable in word order, okay? But here we will have a subjunctive. Antes de que bam, 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 me voy a poner un traje especial. Before something happening, I'm going to put on a special outfit.
Vaya al piscina.
Antes de, uh, let's change this a little bit and I'll show you why. Let's make it a we go.
Okay.
Vayamos al casino.
Oh, because it's the me voy.
Sí, me voy a poner un traje. Before we go to the casino, sí, me voy a poner, I'm going to put on a special outfit, sí. Ah, otro ejemplo, antes de que empiece la boda, before the wedding starts. Antes de que empiece la boda, me voy a poner un traje especial. ¿Sí? I could switch the order and say, me voy a poner un traje especial antes de que empiece la boda. Igual, same thing, right? We can flip the order of those two phrases.
In the first example, how come it's not antes de que vayamos? Vayamos.
Oh, perdón,
Oh, okay.
because I forgot to type it because I was going
Okay.
too fast. Gracias, Kathleen. Antes de que vayamos, sí. Antes de que vayamos al casino, okay? And let me show you the difference. Notice we've got before we do this, I will do that.
Yeah.
If all you're going to say is, I'm going to put on a special suit and I'm also the one going to the casino, there's
Uh-huh.
really no reason. I mean, it may, you could say antes de que vaya. You could. But
Mm.
in most cases, if, or I will say in many cases, if the subject is the same in those two, what it's just going to wind up being is this. Antes de ir al casino, me voy a poner un traje
Okay.
especial, ¿sí? Uh, usually if there is no change of subject, you know, uh, a different person in the antes de que part versus whoever is in that main declarative part of the sentence. Usually people will just take the easier and shorter way, which is this, antes de ir, yeah?
Okay.
I mean, you could, but you could use subjunctive by putting the que and the vaya. You could, but generally it's when there's a change of subject. Okay, you know, when the wedding starts, or before the wedding starts, I'm going to put on this outfit. Okay, hay otro ejemplo con esto. Sí, de ponerme un traje especial. Otro ejemplo, ¿o no?
Antes de que ella llegue, me voy a poner un traje especial.
Antes de que
Ella llegue.
ella llegue, before she gets here. I see. And make sure it sounds like llegue, not llegué.
Llegue.
Llegué is I got there. See? Uh, Antes de que ella llegue, me voy a poner un traje especial. Ok, sí, perfecto. Entienden. ¿Entienden por qué? You understand why? Okay, vale. Bueno, a ver. Let's take a look and let's look at antes de, but no word que. And we're just going to have an infinitive. And notice the idea here is going to be before doing something, I do this, meaning it's all happening just to yo. There's no change in the subject. Antes de, Estudio y pienso bien en todos los detalles. I study and think a lot about all the details.
Antes de tomar el examen.
Antes de tomar el examen. Así estudio y pienso bien en todos los detalles. Sí, muy obvio, muy obvio. Bueno, algo más. Antes de preparar
Mm.
los impuestos.
Ja,
Estudio y pienso bien en todos los detalles. Sí, sí.
ja.
Algo otra vez muy obvio. Yo estudio y también yo preparo, pero cuando es la misma persona, when it's the same person, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Before doing this, and I don't conjugate that part. Ok, vale, muy bien. Otro ejemplo con antes de.
I'll try one.
Bien.
Antes de comenzar un proyecto.
Perfecto. Me gusta mucho. Antes de comenzar un proyecto. Perdón. Antes de comenzar un proyecto, sí, estudio bien y pienso en los detalles. Perfecto. Muy bien. Me gusta, me gusta. Ok, vale. Y por fin, con antes de que, tenemos que enviar toda la información antes de que. We have to send all the information before somebody does something. ¿Ya? Tenemos que enviar toda la información antes de que
Compremos la casa.
compremos la casa. Bien. Sí. Antes de que. Tenemos que enviar toda la información antes de que venga el cliente, por ejemplo, ¿sí?
Mhm.
Antes de que venga el cliente, before the customer arrives or comes in, ¿sí? Ah, bueno, otro ejemplo. Tenemos que enviar toda la información antes de que.
Veo la doctora.
Yo
Sí.
vea, ah,
Oh,
ah,
yeah, yeah.
vea a la doctora. Bien, sí, sí, bien. Ok, bueno, buenos ejemplos. ¿Entienden? ¿Entienden? ¿Es obvio? Ok, vamos a ver. Let's see if we can put it to the test. Little translate thing here, ¿sí? Si la idea es, before going home, I turn off the computer.
Antes de ir a casa, apagó la computadora.
Apago la computadora. Perfecto, sí.
Would
An-
there be a difference if you said antes de irme a casa? Is that the same
Oh,
if
sí, se puede. Eso más como before taking off to go home. Yeah, the difference between ir and irme is a very small one. A lot of people may express that as irme before
okay,
I take off to go home. That's the difference.
okay.
Before going home, yeah. Irse is the kind of get the heck out verb. You know, kind of it lends sort of an immediacy to it.
Okay.
It's a very subtle thing. Bien. Bueno. Uh, y aquí. And now notice here, I will do something and I plan to do this. So this is going to be declara, it declares. I am going to do this. I know I'm going to do this. It's on my checklist of things to do for the day. But then before somebody else does something, yeah? And if we're using the word before, there's no way they can have done that yet. So no declara. Así que no declara. I'll put the gift in the closet before my kids get back home from school.
Can I ask one more question?
Sí.
On the previous one, if I say she turned off the computer before I went home, since that's two people, but
Aha.
it's a definite thing that she turned it off, but I guess, and maybe I'm talking all in the past before I went
You
home,
are
then there's
talking in the
no subjunctive,
you are
right?
talking in the past and it will get a subjunctive.
Okay, let's not
Uh,
get there then. We haven't done that yet.
I can, well, we can show you really briefly. Una vez más, la idea una vez más.
She turned
Before
off the computer before I went home.
she turned off the computer before I went home. Okay.
Two
En el
people.
pasado, ella apagó la computadora antes de que. There are two ways you may hear this. Antes de que yo, pues, no, okay. Let's just do the one that's going to be the obvious. See, antes de que yo fuera a casa. Past subjunctive is going to look very different from present subjunctive. It does not operate on the same assumption of start with yo in present tense
Oh,
and
okay.
then flip. So the
It's
good thing
okay.
about past subjunctive, there is a good thing about formation about past subjunctive. The good thing is that AR, ER, and IR verbs are all going to do the same kind of endings. The bad part is it will use as its base to start from for that formation, not yo en presente, but third person, plural, preterite.
Oh.
So that means lots of things to you may be that's irregular, and technically it's not because, okay, here is what past subjunctive will sound like. And I'll show you some regular subjunctive versus what you may think sounds irregular, but it's still actually regular. So everything, so it'll base itself on things, words like fueron, the ellos form for went, right? Like cocinaron, like manejaron, like comieron. Okay, so you'll get things that sound kind of regular. Cocinara.
Oh,
Okay, that looks like it came from cocinaron, right? Like comiera. That looks like it came from comieron, right? Like, momentito. Okay. Uh, uh, fuera is a great example.
well, maybe if I see it, I'll recognize it. That's all
Like
I.
pusiera from pusieron, like pudiera, which came from pudieron. Yeah. Um, okay. Um, there are uh, it's all based on third person preterite. Okay. And then you get, and they're all ra, 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 ra endings.
Okay.
Okay, bien. So that's what you'll hear. But those will be past subjunctive. So that means I need a past here to match up with a past there.
Okay.
Yeah. So they have to be all in the past for that to work. Yeah. You can't mix like a present and a past for that kind
Okay.
of a thing. Okay. How about, vamos a ver, see, I'll put the gift in the closet before my kids get back from school. Voy a poner el regalo en el armario antes de que
Mis hijos
mis hijos
regresen de la escuela.
regresen de la escuela o quizás lleguen de la escuela. A little different verb, but it's still used for when people arrive. O por ejemplo, vengan de la escuela. I know all those verbs are a little different, but they all have the idea of coming in, coming back from, returning from, arriving from. Yeah. See?
How about volvieran? Uh, volvieran? Volverían?
Oh. Okay. It won't be volvieron. It'll be vuelvan.
Vuelva.
Vuelvan. Vuelvan. There is a volvieron, and volvieron is a past subjunctive. So, yeah, we don't want to mix a past subjunctive with a present declaration kind of thing. Yeah, see? Vuelvan, sí, es perfecto. Vuelvan de la escuela. Excelente. Muy bien, muy bien. Okay, a ver. But you can see that these, and actually you guys did really well with your examples. I want to take a real quick look at this, and you'll see that your cuando word was on this website, right? You know, some other things that are kind of common besides cuando are en cuanto, not cuando, but cuanto, as soon as, hasta que, until, even sometimes aunque, but aunque will shift a little bit. And that one is really, really tough. So we can't get into that one today. But they gave us a whole bunch of examples here. And then when you clicked on something, it would give you an answer. So I'm going to click on both so you can see what they both look like. No podemos hacer nada hasta que tú vuelvas. And when you get the bien, it means well done. An anticipated action that has not yet occurred. See? We can't do anything until you come back to help us. Hasta que tú vuelvas para ayudarnos. And if you had chosen vuelves, it would have told you no. And they would say what you needed instead. And they tell you why. It's an expected or anticipated action. ¿Hay alguna pregunta? Is there any question on any of these examples that you looked at and said, I don't know why it does this, or I don't understand what it means? No?
You know, I missed 2 or 3, but I don't remember which ones they were.
Okay.
So I can look at them again later.
Okay. Okay. All right. It's a good thing to go to. And the thing is, these kinds of words like cuando and actually the antes de and antes de que are not in there, but these kinds of words are not verbs, but they come up when we have they will often signal subjunctive because they talk about something that you think might occur, but it is not really happening yet, you know. We'll do something. We can't do this until you guys get back. Well, until you guys get back, no declara. That does not declare that you guys are actually here until you get back. That means you're not back yet. Yeah. And that action of until you get back, no declara, it does not declare. It's not a fact. So that's why it has to go into subjunctive. See? Bien? So it's good to know that, these little adverbial phrase things are kind of funking. The adverbial clauses, yeah, that's the key. They are not the weirdo verbs that are triggers. They are adverbial clauses, and they are tougher. But one little clause that will be easy to get is para versus para qué. And para versus para qué is a little bit similar in structure to the idea of antes and antes de and antes de qué. And we'll take a little bit of a look at it, decir things after it. But the para and para qué is more important, es más importante. Like antes de infinitive, para often just pairs up with an infinitive. Para is by itself a preposition. And any verb that it immediately follows a preposition stays as an infinitive. So the para with an infinitive does not name a person. So the key is, does this sentence mean in order to do something? If you can phrase it as in order to do something, that's what this is going to use, just the infinitive. Estudias para entender español. You are studying to understand or in order to understand Spanish, right? After para, we're not mentioning any human being here, so there's no need for a subjunctive. Tomo mucha agua, perdón, tomo mucha agua para sentirme mejor en el verano. I drink a lot of water to feel better in the summer. Para sentirme mejor, to feel better. Mi nieto consigue un nuevo empleo para ganar más dinero. My grandson is getting a new job to earn more money, in order to earn more money, right? Le digo las noticias a José para informarle de lo que pasó. I'm telling Joe the information in order to inform him about what happened, right? In order to tell him. And Jose is not doing anything. He's just out there, right? He's not doing that action. He's being given information, right? Bien. Okay. Para qué means so that somebody does something, may do something, might do something. That is the idea we're inserting, okay? And the idea is we are stressing an action that hasn't really happened yet. Somebody who might be doing something, yeah, but it's that so that idea, yeah, so that. El profe te lo explica para que entiendas mejor. The teacher will explain it to you so that you may understand better, right? The teacher's explaining it because the fact is you don't understand it. No declara. It's an action that is not happening. The understanding is not happening. This is going on, explica, so that somebody may, somewhere down the line, understand something that they don't yet get. Yeah? And that para que entiendas means you don't understand yet, so that you understand. Okay? So that,
Marilyn, this is a little ticky-tacky question, but
sí.
is it is it the teacher, isn't it more like the teacher explains it to you?
See, the teacher's explaining it to you. The teacher explains it to you or is explaining it to you. It can mean both. It can
But
even
it's
mean
not,
will
it's,
explain to you.
can it?
Yes, it can.
As opposed to like va explicar?
Present tense can have, okay, present tense can tell that something is happening, that it does indeed happen. It can even project out only into very near future, not like months ahead. Yeah. That somebody is going to do something. It can be a very, very near future. Present
Okay,
tense gets a lot of jobs. Yeah.
yeah.
And it always depends on the context, how the whole conversation is moving along, right? Mamá les da mucha agua para que los niños se sientan mejor. Mom's giving water to them, the kids, so that they'll feel better, right? And notice that se sientan, so that they may feel better. And that's not the se sientan of sit down, because we've got sentarse, and there is yeah, an AR verb, but sentirse, which is an IR verb, and here's our subjunctive for sentirse, se sientan mejor, so that they can feel better, right? They don't feel great right now, so that they may feel well is down the line, and we hope just a little bit of time, okay? Nieto consigue un nuevo empleo para que pueda ganar más dinero, so that he can earn more money, ¿ya? Les digo las noticias a José para que sepa lo que pasó. I'm telling Joe the news so that he might know what happened. He doesn't have a clue right now, right? That sepa no declara. It is not something that is actually happening. He doesn't have that knowledge yet. But I am telling him, or I will tell him very soon, yeah, very near future, so that he might know about this. So, para que is something that people use a lot in Spanish, even in plain old everyday conversation, para que. But notice when we use para que, we have to name a person, and then we need that subjunctive to come in. Okay, let's see if we can plug in some ideas here. We are working as volunteers in order to help the community. In order to, and I'm not naming anybody, right? In order to is just para by itself. That's why it's in blue, en azul. In order to, okay? ¿Cómo se dice we're working as volunteers?
Trabajamos como voluntarias.
Trabajamos de voluntario para ayudar,
Ayudar.
ayudar a la comunidad. ¿Sí?
Mhm.
Para ayudar, in order to help out. Okay. Bien. They clean every day to have a nice patio. In order to have a nice patio. ¿Sí? Ellos
Limpian todos los días para tener un lindo patio.
para tener, sí, un lindo, un bonito, ¿sí? Patio, sí. Un patio atractivo, algo así. Hay muchas palabras. There are a lot of words you can use there to say it's nice, it looks good, right? Un lindo patio, un bonito patio. He's going to the party in order to have a good time. And we would probably just say to have a good time. But we can't use tener here. Momentito. Voy. Okay. He's going to the party.
Va a la fiesta.
Él va a la fiesta para.
I had to
Pasar
cheat.
buen tiempo.
Otra vez.
Pasar un buen tiempo.
Ah, you're so close. Pasarlo bien.
Oh,
Pasarlo bien. Pasarlo bien. You may hear it as pasarla also. There's no difference. Regionally, some people use lo, some will use la. Pasarlo bien, pasarla bien. Okay. Muy común. Have a good time. Pasarlo bien. Okay. O para divertirse. Divertirse. ¿Sí? ¿Sí? Bien. Okay. But never tener para tener buen tiempo. We can't use that. Bien. Okay. So notice in all of these, we don't name a person here in the end. It's just para infinitivo. Para tener. Para ayudar. Fácil. Easy. Okay. Watch. So you, oh, perdón.
You can't use tener just because they just don't use it that way, or is there a grammatical rule there?
Is there a rule with,
Tener.
yeah.
You can't use tener here just because that's not how they use it in Spanish.
Oh, right here?
No, in the party example.
Oh, in the party one. Yeah, we don't use tener. Yeah, we can't use tener to say have a good time, even though have is translated as tener.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why. Okay. Bien. Watch so that you can prepare this recipe.
Mira,
Okay. And here we are going to use the can. Okay. Watch is
mira,
mira, mira, so that
¿Para qué?
Okay.
para que you can
Pueda.
probably puedas,
Oh, okay.
¿ya? Puedas preparar, ¿sí? Esta receta. Bien, ok, vale. Bien, I'm going to separate these into two slides so that we don't keep getting
But now wait a
infinitely
minute, wouldn't
small.
that, since you're telling somebody to watch so that they can prepare, it's the same you.
It is. Correcto. Correct. But it's the so that you can. Yeah, yes, it is sort of the same thing. You're giving a command. You're telling somebody watch, right?
Yeah.
Uh, para qué is going to name a person now, right? That's why I need subjunctive. We're naming a person.
Otherwise, it would be watch. Like somebody's giving a big demonstration and they might just say watch in order to be able to prepare this
Yeah, you
recipe.
could. See,
And then you
mira,
wouldn't do subjunctive.
mira para saber cómo se prepara.
Okay.
Watch so that you know. So, yeah, in order to figure out. See, yeah. These are all really subtle things, but para qué comes up a lot. Para que puedas, para que sepas, para que entiendas, so that you understand. See? Yeah, they're kind of subtle differences, aren't they? But para qué? Yeah, it needs it. Okay.
Marilyn?
Sí.
Marilyn? Why is it mira and not miras since it's puedas?
Because mira is a command. Watch.
So you're
I'm telling you, hey, do
okay.
this.
So you are commanding at that
You're
point.
commanding, and that's what they call an imperative. It's a command. It's an affirmative command. A tu command is just miras without the s at the end. Yeah? Miras, escucha, listen. See? It's like that. Okay. I'll do this, and the word for this is just going to be esto. That's a generic this. It's like an activity, this. Yeah. I'll do this so that you can do it later. And here we don't need a can. We're focusing on the do it. Yeah.
All
I mean, you
right,
could
Esther?
use a can. See, oh, I'll do this. Voy
Oh, voy a.
Voy
a,
a hacer esto
voy a hacer esto
para que tú hagas más tarde.
sí, para que tú lo hagas later, más tarde o luego o después. Could be a different ways of saying later. Yeah. ¿Sí? Para que tú lo hagas, so that you might be able to do it.
Marilyn, is the word to needed there?
No, it's not.
But it's good, but
Es
just,
opcional.
Yeah.
This is, it could be used for emphasis, I'll do this so that you can do it later. Yeah. And with English, we sometimes have a little inflection in our voice. That's when you plug in the tú, para que tú lo hagas, so that you can do it. Yeah. But you can skip the tú for sure and not even say that word. Sí, sí.
Could you just say hago esto?
Hago esto, sí. Hago esto.
Yeah.
Sí. Hago esto. I'll do this like I'm doing it very, very soon. It can be just hago esto. Sí, es posible. I can skip the voy a hacer and just say hago esto. También correcto. Also correct. Bien. Okay. Adelante. I'm telling you so that you'll understand. And in English, we're really, really likely to like do a little future so that you will, but right now you don't understand. That is the key idea. I'm telling you,
Te lo
te
dije.
digo, and it might be a te lo digo. Often that lo is put in there, even though we don't necessarily say an it word with it, but that might be included. Te lo digo. Okay, so that,
Para que
¿para qué?
lo, lo,
Well, we don't have a no.
lo. No
Oh,
lo.
lo
¿Entiendes?
¿Entiendes?
entiendas.
Oh,
Entender is an ER verb, so para que lo entiendas. ¿Sí? Para que lo comprendas. Para que lo entiendas. Entiendas is going to be the most natural thing to come out of somebody's mouth when they think of this. Para que lo entiendas. ¿Sí? ¿Bien?
Do you
¿Vale?
need this? Does the second lo need to be there in front of entiendas?
No, you could skip it. You could skip
Okay.
this. Para que entiendas. Sí. Bien. Bien. Muy bien. Okay.
those were good exercises. Good, made me think.
Bien, bien. Yeah. And really, para qué is something that you hear people use just constantly. It is a super. So I wanted to emphasize the cuando because you hear people say it a lot and the para qué, so that, yeah, because you hear it a lot. You may not hear all of these all the time. Once in a while, yeah. But the cuando and the antes de and the para qué, yeah, uh, you'll hear those thrown around a lot. They are really frequently used in conversation every day. Okay. Uh, I just want to show one other little thing, and we don't have a practice on this per se because you kind of need to get a feel for it. This is a little bit complicated, but it's something that had been brought up, and I thought to include it just so you can see how it might be set up. Sometimes this is another one of those things. It does not fit into the weirdo format, but you may or may not hear subjunctive used connected with the verb decir. All right. And it depends on what function decir is taking, what the whole context of the sentence is. So if you are saying that somebody just says something or tells some kind of bit of information, and what that information is, if they're doing that, that's all just fact, 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 fact. Declara, 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 declara. All right. Mi esposo me dice que el producto cuesta más. My husband tells me that the product costs more. My husband says, declara, he really is talking to me. El producto cuesta más. Declara, yeah, the product really does cost more. All todo indicativo, all indicative, right? Mi esposo me dijo que vinieron nuestros amigos. My husband told me that instead of he's telling me, he did tell me that our friends came. My husband told me that our friends came. Mi esposo me dijo que vinieron nuestros amigos. Fact, me dijo que. Fact, declara, vinieron, they came. Fact. Okay, so when decir is connected to giving information that something really did happen, no subjunctive is going to happen. But sometimes you'll hear decir connected to subjunctive. And when will that happen? Are you telling somebody, not information, but you're telling them they have to do something? Aha. Because you're telling them and you're counseling them, you're giving them advice, you're flat out giving them an order, then it's a different story, okay? Así, el policía, the policeman, el policía nos dice que no crucemos la calle aquí. The policeman tells us not to cross the street here. It is not just information, he is giving us instructions. So the fact that he's telling us, nos dice, declara, it declares, but we shouldn't cross the street here. It's a suggestion. It's maybe even an order, a command, but that no declara. We're not actually crossing the street. We're maybe standing right on the corner. We're looking at, miramos el semáforo. We're looking at the street light. We're pondering what we're going to do. But that crucemos, it is not actually happening yet. He tells us not to do something. He is giving us advice. This is kind of like the recommendation, the R part of the weirdo idea. It is a recommendation or even maybe an order. Yeah. But that's why that goes into subjuntivo. O aquí, Toño le dice al turista, Tony tells the tourist, que siga todo recto. He tells them, and now he gives an order, what he wants them to do, or what his suggestion is, because they're lost, right? Que siga todo recto. He tells the tourist to keep going straight. When Toño turns around and walks away from el turista, he doesn't know whether turista is going to siga recto or no. He doesn't know if he's going to keep going or say, heck with you, I'm turning. That siga action is not yet happening, all right? He's telling him because he is giving them a recommendation of what they ought to do. And that is not yet happening yet. So that is why siga goes into subjunctive. Okay, so these get into very long sentences, so I didn't want to give you a lot of examples to use with that. But you may hear decir used with or without subjunctive, and that is why. It will depend on the context. All right.
So, Marilyn, could I
Yes, ma'am.
just, because I'm reading this book, and just to give everybody a little background, this like
Yes, ma'am.
12-year-old girl got a diary for Christmas, and because of political tension and stuff, the mom says don't write in it. So this is the
Ooh.
sentence. Decirme que no escriba en él es como si me quitara mi único regalo.
Ah,
So
yeah.
that's subjunctive for,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Así es, yeah. Uh, yeah. So, you will hear this pop up from time to time. Uh, and when you do hear it pop up from time to time, I would say don't overanalyze it. Know that it's like, they're talking about something that hasn't really happened. Yeah, that decir que tells them to do something, or tells them not to do something. Yeah. Um, it's really giving somebody advice. That's what it's doing. Ok, bien, bien. A ver. ¿Alguna pregunta? Any question before I want to see if you had any questions on the video. See? No? Okay.
I had just one at 450, Fuente de la Calle, and then there was Fuente de the solar panels, but like the Fuente is fountain, it didn't make sense.
Que
Oh,
cambia de la fuente de la calle a la fuente de las placas. Y es un, pero
the source. They were talking about plugging in between like a solar and the street, the outlet that plugs in from the street. I think they were talking about electricity, yeah? Switching over to like solar, like a
Yeah.
generator,
Right.
situation. Sí. Fuente is a fountain, but it's also a source. So if you plug into a main source of electricity, that'll be la fuente. Wherever your
Thanks.
electricity source comes out of. From the main utility, it's la fuente. But la fuente de la placa, if it's coming in from, a battery source of some kind, a generator kind of source, that's it. See? Yeah. And fuente, we know as fountain. But it's also a source for utility in this case. Bien. ¿Algo más? Anything else?
Yeah, Marilyn, I had a question at about roughly 4 minutes and 10 seconds.
Oh, okay.
And I've struggled with the use of the word bomba.
Oh, yeah. I wondered if somebody was going to ask about that. Let's get a little context first, because you really need the context.
barbacoas,
Oh, people had barbecues.
claro que la gente, porque no había luz y había
Because there was no electricity. And when they say no había luz, there was no light. But really, often they use luz to just talk about electricity. Okay, so here, luz is really talking about electricity source.
cosas en el congelador, la gente
Oh, there was stuff in your
se
freezer,
puso a cocinar todo.
and people started to cook everything out of their freezer so they didn't lose it.
Claro que no había agua, porque
Of course, there was no water.
en nuestra urbanización tenemos una bomba.
And this is not a bomb. It looks like bomb. No hay una bomba. This means a pump. Little known fact, when my in-laws lived in a very rural area, well, one of the rural areas they lived in, there were many, uh, in Wisconsin, was so rural that in order to have water for your toilet to work, the pump had to be working. And the pump ran out of electricity. So when the electricity went out, don't don't flush. Don't flush, kids. Tell a 2-year-old who's just learning to do that. Yeah, don't flush. The pump is not working. I, being a city girl, had no idea you had an electric pump connected to make the water work. Así es. That's what he's talking about. There's an electric pump that makes the water work.
When I was a kid, we lived in the country and we had a pump and, well water. And my friend came over and she made the mistake of flushing the toilet. She's still traumatized by that. Her electricity went out in Pittsburgh the other week, and she was like, "At least I can flush the toilet." Because when she flushed, everyone screamed.
Yeah, I was relatively traumatized. I did not know, as a mother of toilet training toddlers, I was introduced to the idea of when the electricity is out, none of that stuff works because there is no electric pump for the water. And uh, that was my, oh, you must be kidding introduction to the wonderful uh, rural water
Well,
arrangement.
does
Okay.
something bad happen or does it just not flush?
Yeah, it
I
just
think
won't.
something bad happens.
Uh,
It'll flush, but I don't
yes,
remember
well,
exactly
because
what.
often there's also a septic tank involved.
Yeah.
I will
Okay.
say no more. I will say no more. Uh, Sewer systems, as we are generally accustomed to, are not the same. Okay. Many unappetizing stories I will not go into with my wonderful experiences visiting the relatives. Okay. A ver, otra pregunta. Kathleen, did you have a question as well? No? Nada? Yeah. Bomba was certainly not a word you expect to hear in association with that, is it? Yeah. Sí, la bomba. And furthermore, in a big city, you probably wouldn't have that happening because they've got a great big main sewer system. There it is. Okay. We are going to,
Marilyn,
oh, sí,
can I steal 1 minute of time?
sí, claro.
Okay, so I have two public service announcements that I thought kind of the group might be interested in. So real quickly, there I just learned about, but in late January there will be a ABBA tribute concert at Mesa Arts Center, which today was the pre-sale is the pre-sale for tickets. And
Oh,
they're not too expensive. The most expensive ticket is like 70 something dollars.
oh, para un concierto, for a concert?
Yeah, I just thought, well,
Yeah,
we're kind
normal.
of similar generations here. You might like ABBA music. The other thing, which don't ask me how I kind of thought, well, this is really good. If you happen to need anything, with Memorial Day sales and whatnot, there's a store called Parachute, which they used to have a store in the Scottsdale Quarter. They sell like home stuff, towels, sheets, bedding,
Like a Bed and Bath
um,
and Beyond kind of thing, yeah?
well, but just a much more small subset of things
Okay.
like towels, sheets, bedding, duvets, duvet covers, blankets. And they're having a 30, and they're not cheap, but they're having a 30% off sale for Memorial Day week, which makes things actually sort of reasonable. And it's really good quality stuff. And if you have the right Amex or Citi credit cards, they're running deals through the end of June, so it'll cover this, where if you spend $300, they're giving you $60 of cash back on your credit card. So between
Wow.
those two things, it's like a 50% off sale.
Wow.
Just thought I'd pass it along. The website is parachutehome.com.
Parachute. Okay, that's easy to
Yeah,
remember.
parachutehome.com.
Yeah, home. Okay. It's
They
doesn't
they
take
used
long
to
to get
have a
up to
store in
60 bucks.
Scottsdale Quarter, but they closed it. So but
Ah,
this is all mail order now. Their nearest stores are in Los Angeles and
ah,
like Denver, I think.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Es obvio que no vamos a manejar a Denver para comprar sábanas to buy sheets. No, toallas, no.
Okay, and end of PSAs.
Gracias, gracias. Bien. Okay. Bien. Okay. Let's listen to some examples. This will be es un poquito interactivo. There will be some things where they actually say the word and you choose the response, or they mouth it and, bleep it out so that you can choose the response. It's going to be lots of little examples of subjunctive here and there, kind of all over. And, yeah, I will give you the website in the class email. Okay. I think this takes us straight into the example.
Hola, soy Carmen. ¿Quieres hacer senderismo conmigo?
Okay, and here you actually heard her say it. The whole thing is connected with a running story here about a hike. Senderismo is hiking, one of the words for hiking. Senderismo. Sendero is a trail. So senderismo is going on the trail, hiking. Soy Carmen, ¿quieres hacer senderismo conmigo? Would it be quieras or quieres?
Yes.
Quieres, because it's a fact. Do you want to do it? You're asking somebody the question. Do you want to go hiking? ¿Quieres hacer senderismo conmigo? Bien.
Me alegro de que... Aventurero o aventurera. Ahora, unos consejitos.
And here they bleeped her out. I'm happy that it's a verb of emotion. It's the E of weirdo. It's a verb of emotion. I'm happy that you're adventurous.
Eres. Eres.
Says.
Eres.
Aha.
Para
Yes.
empezar,
Oh,
te recomiendo que...
momento. It was seas because me alegro de que I'm happy that.
That you are, even though it's you, the fact that I am
I'm
happy.
happy that you are, yeah, I'm happy that you are feeling adventurous.
Okay.
Yeah. Me alegro de que tú, one person, am happy that you, a different person, are doing something. Verbs of emotion require subjunctive. And these are kind of tough for English speakers because we don't really think of that as being a subjunctive thing, but it is, okay? So now she's going to start with a new one. To start, para empezar. To start off, oh, and look, we get a translation. First, I recommend that you plan your route.
It's a recommending verb.
It is a recommending verb. So, te recomiendo que.
Prepares. Prepares.
Okay.
Tu ruta de antemano.
Sí. Te recomiendo que prepares.
Además, es importante que... Muy bien, sobre el nivel de dificultad y cuánto tiempo se tarda en hacer la ruta.
Besides, and here now that I know they give you a translation, hey, also it's important that you find out how difficult the route is and how long it will take. Okay, it's important that.
More advice.
More advice. Yeah. It's important. Es importante is the impersonal expressions, the I of weirdo, impersonal expressions. Es importante, es probable, es imposible, es posible. Es with a little adjective in there, right? Es importante, and it's it's a reflexive, so
Informes.
que te informes. Informarse, es importante que te informes. Bien.
Es evidente que no puedes pensar en todo, pero cuanto más planees, mejor.
Bien. It's clear that you can't think of everything, but the more you plan, the better. Es evidente que
That impersonal phrase again.
it and okay, maybe
You cannot.
puedes.
You cannot puedas.
Evidente. Which one do you think? I'm going to take your vote first. We'll take whatever you vote with.
Well,
¿Puedas o puedes?
Puedas.
Puedas.
Not yet.
Es evidente que no puedes pensar en todo. También
Now,
insisto
momento.
en que
Okay,
en
hang on.
internet, ¿qué tiempo hará durante tu ruta?
Flip
¿Hará
forward.
frío, calor? ¿Va a llover?
It'll let me replay that. Okay, hang on. Evidente is a tough one. Evidente says evident. Evidente is not like importante. It is not like imposible. It is not like probable. Evident is like verdad. It is like cierto. So, es evidente means, well, we can all see this.
Okay.
Another example would be something like es obvio. Es obvio. Obvio indicates declara, declares. Yeah. Evidente. Well, it's evident. I can see it. Yeah. So that will go back to indicativo because it's talking about a true situation. So that one was kind of a trick one. Let's replay this one here, but let's see ahead of time what she's going to
Before you do that, a question about the
see.
previous one. I think what threw me off was it said es evidente que. So even though there was a K there, it didn't trigger the subjunctive. So
There
that's
you go. And that's why they're kind of trying to encourage this idea in from that philosophical video a few weeks back of does it declare or does it not?
I see.
Es posible, it is possible, does not declare it's happening. Es evidente, it's evident. And if it's evidence in a court, it's proof, right? So it's just like saying es verdad, it's true that.
Okay, claro.
It declara, it declares. So we have to look at the totality, and that's why the subjunctive is something we often struggle with. But know that it's natural for us to struggle with that. It's really totally natural. And sometimes you'll get it right, and sometimes you'll get it wrong. No pasa nada. It's really no big deal because you're going to make mistakes with it sometimes, and that's cool. That's okay. I wanted to see where you guys were going to go with it because that one was it was a trick question. It was kind of a trick question. Okay, let's look at what this is saying up front before we because I'll have her replay it so you'll hear her talking. También insisto en que en internet, ¿qué tiempo hará durante tu ruta? ¿Hará frío, calor, va a llover? I also insist that you check on the internet to see what the weather will be like during your hike. Is it going to be cold, hot? Is it going to rain? Okay, and we've got an insisto en que. I insist that you do something. I, one person, insist that I can insist all I like that my kids clean the bathroom, and I'm going to tell you that bathroom is not going to be cleaned. I insist that you do something. I insist, if I insist on cleaning the bathroom, it will be done. If I insist that my kid cleans the bathroom, 99% chance it is not going to be done, okay? Just saying. Insisto en que is going to need something special. So let's hear her say it.
También insisto en que en Internet, ¿qué tiempo hará durante tu ruta? ¿Hará frío, calor? ¿Va a llover?
Okay. So we need a tu form and we need for buscar, but it really needs to be a subjunctive here, doesn't it? So it becomes
Buscas. Buscas.
busques, and it gets a funny
Te
spelling.
aseguro que
It gets a funny spelling because car, gar, are verbs. Yeah. Yeah. Have to do a phonetic, just a spelling change, right? Busca, busque. You get the pronunciation right, but in spelling, it has to go to QU to get to that sound. Okay. Otra vez. Let's take a look. Te aseguro que. I assure you that. Assure you that it's good to have as much information as possible before you begin.
Yes.
Ooh, this again could be kind of tricky. Let me back her up. I don't know if she's going to.
te aseguro que, bueno, tener toda la información posible antes de comenzar.
Uh,
Yes.
Is she advising or is she saying for sure?
No, she said, sure, it's S. Isn't it S because it's a statement. It is true.
It is true. Yeah. I assure you, and I'm telling you it's a fact, right? I'm not insisting, I'm not advising, I'm not recommending. I assure you that it's a good idea.
En muchos bosques no hay cobertura, así que es buena idea que el mapa en tu teléfono antes de salir de casa.
Aha. Okay. En muchos bosques, in lots of woods or wooded areas, right? There is no cell coverage, cell phone coverage. See, there is no cell phone coverage in many forests. Así que, so that, see, not the para que, but así que. So that it's a good idea. It is a good idea that you do this. Are you going to do it or not? It's a good idea.
So it has to be subjunctive because she doesn't know if she's going to do it.
Doesn't know if we're going to do it. It's a good idea, but also it's a good idea not to drink and drive. It's good to do many things, doesn't mean that good thing is going to happen, right? Es buena idea que, and download the map. Descargar means to download. Yeah. And descargar is an AR verb, so
Descargue.
te descargues, you download
¿Qué
the map. on
calzado
your
es
phone.
mejor? Creo que debes llevar un calzado que sujete el tobillo y sea impermeable.
Which shoes are better? And calzado, she doesn't say zapatos. Calzado means footwear. It's a more general word, footwear, yeah. Which footwear is better? See, I think that it's what I believe. I think this is a fact. Declara, it's a declaration. Creo que, I think that you ought to wear footwear or shoes que sujete, which clamps down or holds on to, right? Supports your ankle, and that are waterproof. And notice that they should be waterproof. We don't really know, but I think that you should wear is
Debas.
Debes.
¿Cuál es? Which one is it? Debas o debes? Creo que indicates belief.
Debes.
Be indicative.
Debes, indicative.
Ah,
Es crucial que suficiente agua.
Okay. Es crucial. Es crucial. We'll play it again.
Es crucial que suficiente agua.
It's crucial.
is that like
We've
it's
got-
verdad? It's true?
¿Qué cree?
Es crucial que suficiente agua.
Crucial means crucial. but is crucial truth or is it just something that's important?
Wouldn't it be like important? So it would be subjunctive.
Debas,
Debas.
También es recomendable que comida de sobra para tu ruta, sobre todo si es larga.
Ah, yeah, sí. It's also advisable that you carry plenty of food for your trip, especially if it's long. También es recomendable, ¿ok? And we're using llevar.
Lleves?
Lleves. This is an impersonal phrase. Es recomendable. It's recommendable. I don't know if you're going to do it. It's not verdad, truth. It's recommendable. It's advised.
Si vas con un guía, te aconsejo que sus instrucciones en todo momento.
If you go with a guide, I advise, this is my opinion.
That's a recommendation, so it has to be subjunctive.
Eso sí, I advise that you follow their instructions at all times. And we have a funny spelling on this, but seguir for subjuntivo, sí, correcto, correcto. Te aconsejo, I advise to you that you do it, that you follow. So, follow. This is a hard one for conjugating. Sigas.
Dudo que olvides esto, pero por si acaso, cuidado con los mosquitos. Lleva siempre repelente en tu mochila.
Bien. I doubt that you'll forget this. And verbs of doubt, like dudo or like no creo.
Those are
Creo que, indicativo, declares, but no creo que or dudo que, they indicate doubt. So I doubt that you'll forget this. Yeah. But just in case, por si acaso, just in case. Cuidado con los mosquitos. Careful about those mosquitoes, right? Lleva siempre, always carry insect repellent in your backpack. Dudo que, what do we need? Olvides or olvidas?
Olvidas. Because
Olvides, because it comes from
it's
olvidar. Olvidas, sí.
Es crucial. Crema solar. El sol es muy peligroso.
It's crucial that you apply sunscreen. Sun is really dangerous. And aplicarse is, we're using this like ponerse. You could use ponerse as well. Do we need te apliques or te aplicas? Es crucial.
okay. Applicant that you should do it. Ooh.
It's,
You should
yeah.
apply. It's crucial that you should apply, or
Yeah, it's crucial that you should do this.
you should do this.
Yeah, it's not true. It's
So it's
Te
applicant
aplicas.
has to be subjunctive.
sí, te apliques.
Deseo que una experiencia genial.
Hope you have.
That's
Bien.
under the W, wishes.
Wishes, yeah.
Well, yeah, sí, that you have.
Tengas.
Sí, and think about this is really in the same vein as when somebody says que tengas buen día, have a good day.
Oh,
It's the same thing. It's in the same spirit, right? Que tengas buen día, have a good day. I hope we're just voicing the I hope part. I wish that you have a good day. Deseo que tengas.
Sin embargo, espero que toda tu basura.
However, I hope that you pick up all your trash. I hope you do it. I can't check on you every moment, right? I hope that you do it. Espero que.
So it has
Recojas.
subjunctive.
Subjunctive is what we need. Recoger, ER verb. So subjunctive is recojas, pick up.
Sobre todo, insisto en que la naturaleza.
I insist that you respect nature. Insisto en que I insist is in the same spirit as recomendar or aconsejar is giving advice. Yeah. Insisto en que tú
Respetes.
respetes.
Ojalá que te lo pases genial en tu ruta de senderismo. Buena suerte.
Yeah, and here's a have a good time. Let's hit pasarlo bien once more.
It's
Yeah.
pasas because it's ojalá.
Yeah, ojalá. And this one you don't have to think hard about it at all because ojalá, everybody gets ojalá, ojalá que lo pases. Genial.
Es evidente que no puedes pensar en todo, pero cuanto más planes, mejor.
Oh, and it repeated this because it was the one where we had to choose and it repeats your mistakes at the end. Aquí vamos, ok, vale, bueno, sí. Bien.
Send those again, Marilyn, please. Send those.
Sí, sí, sí. Oh, sí, claro. Yeah, I will send you the link for that. And be advised because they have a freebie and a paying thing, you may have to like wait a few seconds until it like lets you into the freebie part. So just be patient with that. I do have a very interesting video for you guys to watch for the coming week. Se trata de it is full of subjunctive, left and right, up and down, backwards and forwards. No es tan largo. 12 minutos, 12 minutes, so it's not crazy. Mexicana cruzando la frontera de Canadá a Estados Unidos en autobús. En parentheses, sale mal. Mexican crossing the Canadian border to the United States on a bus. Greyhound, people. Remember Greyhound? Yeah. Sale mal. Sale mal, it turns out badly. Okay. Interesante.
Does she end up in El Salvador?
No, no. No está en El Salvador. Pero,
Bueno.
you may need to slow her down to 75. That may be helpful for you in this situation. Definitely put on the subtitles. You are going to hear all kinds of subjunctive because she is on the road and people in Mexico use coach buses frequently to travel from city to city, and they are used to that being a super pleasant experience. We, however, do not necessarily pair up the idea of Greyhound with I'm going to kick back and relax. Yeah. So she compares how it is taking the bus to get to visit a friend in the States. And it is all I'm going to tell you, it is an excruciatingly long trip. Tons and tons of subjunctive. So it's very, very fun from that point of view. You will start to hear it and you can hear the iffiness of this trip bleeding through almost every other sentence. It's like, don't know how this is going to be. Don't know. So it's like subjunctive left and right. Very, very fun. But she's a trooper, I got to say, because you need to be strong of stomach to do the Greyhound experience in the States. Okay. ¿Todo bien? ¿Sí? ¿Todo bien?
Sí.
Vale. I'm going to show you one quick thing. Because I am going to send over the hiatus some extra videos, one video to watch every week. Yeah, I'll send a different video since I am off for June. I do want to show you, where is it? Oh, I thought this was set up, pero no es así. Oh, sí es así. All right. I don't know that you'll be able to see it per se, but if you have issues with YouTube playing like a number of commercials that you just cannot take it anymore, Diana had a bad experience with it. Oh, I see. Puede ver. There is a web browser you can use instead of Chrome. It is called Brave, Brave, like be brave. And it will look like this. That's not very helpful, but instead of being Chrome, it has a little lion because lions are brave. And you can download this as a browser, okay? And it will, when you type in the search box, it will, you can type YouTube in. You can type YouTube into Brave and choose to watch YouTube. Now, se dice que, they say that you
Hola a
will
todos y
not get all kinds of commercials if you use Brave as opposed to Chrome. I cannot vouch 100%. I had one other person use it and they said, yeah, it took everything off. And another person who said, well, they had one or two, but it was better. So if you find the whole many ads, maybe try the Brave, it might be helpful. See? Para que sepan, just so you know.